I'm going to talk to you today about my my trailer. I bought a trailer. It's an aluminum teardrop trailer, and I got it from a friend here in town who had it. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm looking for it. She's like, oh, I'm going to sell it. It needs a little work. All right, cool. Teardrop trailer, cool. So I looked into them, and apparently they got popular in the 30s and the 40s during the Great Depression. It was a small enough trailer you could pull it with any kind of car, super lightweight. And they got popular during the pandemic. People, who wanted to get around and get out of their minds and their house. So this one, I was thinking it was old, but it's a millennial baby. It was born, there's an inscription inside it that says, begin construction something 99 and finish 4/2000. So I'm thinking about it as it's a millennial teardrop, because that's when it was born on the eve of the millennium Falcon. I don't know, I gotta figure out a name, like a Star Wars inspired name for it. But anyway, let's go look at it. I want to show you it had some issues. I got it for a good deal, but let's just say it's an opportunity for creative expression right now, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm working on. So right now it's back here, and these are the mattresses from it right here. That I pulled out. It's barely big enough, like a full-size bed. It's 4 feet wide, and the full length is an 8-foot sheet of plywood, maybe a little extra. And the spiders think it's a great place to catch their dinner. Just yesterday, I pulled this side off, the metal off of this side, and it required there's three bolts here and a fender. And I had to get that out of the way, and everything on this side had to come off. I pulled the metal trim up on both sides. I took it all the way off of that side, but I figure I could stop here, because on this side I'm lucky that I only have to patch here to here. I want to patch down here, and then of course there is nothing here. There was just a thin piece of aluminum going right there, and so this whole area is going to get patched like a giant pie piece right here. Same thing on this side. And then, boy, the spiders have been busy. Look, I was just working on this yesterday, man. What the heck? And then I'm going to redo this sort of attachment system here, which is 2 pieces of just 2x1s. And I'm going to make something a bit more substantial and attach it further up into here, so it'll go further this way. And sort of I don't want to replace this. That's a stone too far. I'm not doing that. So, but I'm gonna patch this in and then put a piece in here so that you can't see it on the inside. And this will all be replaced. And I'm gonna rebuild this whole divider right here. I have these little speakers that I stuck in a box. These are Remodel coaxial drivers. And I want to build them into some little enclosures, and then I could power them with this little tiny Bluetooth amp, and I think it'd be perfect for this thing. So I'm planning to put those speakers in here pointing that way, and I also figure if you're at a camp you can open the doors and it'll pump it back out. So we'll go over to the shop and I'll show you the rest of the madness over there, but it was really about just pulling it apart without really destroying it. In essence, I got to come through and hammer this out flat again and just clean it up. When they built the trailer, it's a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and the aluminum sheet was the thickness of this top ply too short. So you can see here it was all patched up with who knows, what kind of heavy duty stuff. I can show you the work I had to do on the side pieces to clean it up. But there was a gap here, a physical gap in the aluminum between the bottom of the rail and the piece of plywood, and he patched over it, and that's why this thing got so trashed. Here's the construction, begin and end construction, 1199, and so formed right at the end of the last century/1,000 years. So this side's going to get patched in. You can see these lines right here. I'm going to cut this, and then cut here. And then I have a piece that I made that I'll show you that's going to slot right in there, and it's going to fix this deficiency here so we can cover it up completely and have it sealed. And with modern, tapes and epoxies and things, I think I can get this thing sealed up and cleaned up really stable and solid. So, and then I have to like wood bondo the bottom here. This is really solid. The frame is actually up here. It's at this level, and you can see the bolts here holding it on. And that's pretty robust. So I'm just gonna make this as bulletproof against, you know, road grime as I can, just patch it in. I'm gonna rebuild, I have the back piece next door too, and I'll show you that. I'm gonna completely rebuild the structuring for that because it's pretty trashed. So yeah, let's go over there. Okay. I've been listening to a lot of Alan Watts. I don't know, he's kind of been helped me out a lot, let's put it that way. So I wrote a couple of words the other day that sort of go to my environment, my creative environment. And I said, complexity of space. I need complexity of space. And then my garden told me this. Shabby, wild, and vibrant, directed curiosity welcome everywhere. It's here, my child can run wild. He can come up with a million ways to play. So if this was clean and dialed in and there wasn't stuff everywhere, my kid would be like, it's boring. Like what? I need to have a barely organized mess. Now, of course, you know, there are times you go through and you're like, I gotta refresh, start over. And part of that process is discovering what's left around here. So yeah, every once in a while, there's like a reset, kind of a re-examination of the space. And is this as functional as it could be? Do I need more space for stuff? Should I put more stuff away? Oh, I forgot I had this. Oh, that gives me an idea. I was gonna do this. So it's about really keeping the opportunity for playful discovery about, you know, present in some way, I think. And that's what I'm telling myself. Thanks to Alan Watts. And the main thing is, if I'm sitting here beating myself up about how I need to clean all of this and deal with it, I'm not being creative. I'm stuck in my shit. And if I just accept it all, and just this is how I do, then it changes the whole game. Now I can just do, I don't need to worry about being. So anyway, back to the trailer. Here's the two sides. And I got them on top of each other at the moment, so you could see at the minute. Some people on YouTube are saying at the minute instead of at the moment. I kind of like that. But yeah, it had all kinds of, so I really had to like sand the edges. I have a dual action sander, and I put 80 grit on it to get all this crap off of here. So now the edges are cleaned up. Not just the main top edge that I'm worried about. The rest of it, just so I can get the covering on it. I mean, it'll get cleaned up as I go, but it's not nearly as impacted by what was done. And this is my piece that's gonna go on the side out there that I showed you on the trailer itself. And here's where you can really see how the guy that built the thing made a little mistake, which caused all of this no fun stuff to happen. So this piece, if we just look at the top piece of aluminum here, this is what he missed, was leaving this 1/4 inch piece for the plywood at the top to fit. So his plywood top went all the way to the top, and there was no room. So then you had the edge, the other plywood, this is not an exact replica, but you know, it was going this way. And so you had this exposed edge right here, which was bad. So we're fixing that. We have an opportunity to fix that, that's what we're doing. So I have to be very careful, and it took me a minute of just sitting there staring at that thing to figure out what, because I made the piece and it didn't fit right away because I hadn't solved the same problem that he had. And, oh, got to make room for the top ply and then sort of rejig the whole thing. The top's going to slide towards the tail a little bit. It's going to extend the hinge point a tiny bit, but I can deal with that. Speaking of hinge point, here's the rest of it. So this is the hatch. And it is in a sad condition. me put this up on the table here. Yeah, so these corners where the hinge is at, I mean the hinge is still here. It barely moves. I mean they're just destroyed. And this is not super well attached. I actually have some aircraft spruce that I bought for making acoustic guitars. Good Lord, 25 years ago. And I'm gonna see if I can use some of that because that'll be super light. I'll make this thing like feather light if I can get away with building the structural elements out of that stuff. Kind of like a guitar top. So that'll be a super dorky. Anyway, it'll be fun to show off. You open it up, oh look at all this spruce. But yeah, there's a bit of love that needs to be spread around here on this thing. I mean that's, you know. So, the next time you see me talking about this, it should look a whole lot different. And maybe even I'll have it ready. I would like to use it this fall, which means I need to get moving because it's early September right now. And I would love to get out on the road and go see some gorgeous country and kind of breathe a bit. So, check back soon. We'll see where we're at on this. Thanks.